So I was thinking about doing like a top 10 list for my favorite games shown at this E3, but there were just too damn many, honestly. Like, unless I was going to make it a top 30 list, I don't know if I could do it. Everyone just seemed to be putting in so much solid work. Honestly enough, I'll probably say Capcom probably did me the best with Devil May Cry 5 and Resident Evil 2. That was an insane 1-2 punch. Devil May Cry looked as fast-paced and frantic as ever. Awesome to actually see classic Dante back. Resident Evil 2 is actually going to be my game of the show, though, guys. If I do have to pick a number one, it's that. Even though it is my favorite game series of all time, I wasn't sure if this game was going to be my number one when it was actually being shown during Sony's press conference, because the trailer they showed didn't have much actual gameplay in it. But after seeing all the gameplay videos getting uploaded from people going hands-on, yeah, this is it. This is certainly my number one pick. But in terms of everything else, just so much amazing stuff that I'm going to have to buy. Ubisoft will probably have me with their new Wonder Woman game. Combat looks pretty solid, brutal even at that. And they surely do with Starlink after they added Fox to that thing. Before, it's like, oh, I probably could have played this and maybe squinted to pretend like I was just playing a Star Fox game, but at E3, Ubisoft's like, nah, brah, we got you, and puts Fox with his Arwing into the actual game. Good on them. As I said in my video that was just about this game, more of these sorts of collaborations, please, Nintendo. Of course, with people who are going to do right by your characters. But yeah, I think this sort of Nintendo content done for more Switch versions of games could go a long way in selling those Switch versions. Tons of great indie stuff is coming from all over. The only saving grace from EA's conference, in my opinion, was their indies. And Microsoft showing off Ori and the Will of the Wisps. How beautiful is this game? It looks to be just improving on the Blind Forest in just about every aspect, which that game was already awesome in itself. And giving us a little Zelda action with Tunic. Can't go wrong with getting some more of that style of play on the Xbox. That Jump Force game, where the hell did that come from? And why does it look so visually awesome? Bandai Namco is just killing it with these anime fighting games right now in a big way. I think this could easily end up there with Dragon Ball FighterZ in terms of popularity, especially with digging pretty deep into the anime scene with this roster, featuring the likes of Death Note characters. Makes one curious as to who else is going to show up. Microsoft just blasted us all over with games. Gears 5, I think, looked fun, despite the meh cast. Gears Pop, not so much. While there was no gameplay, I'm very interested to see where Halo is going, how they're going to get us back on board after Halo 5. Forza looked as better than reality as ever. Could that Sessions game be the next Skate 4? Maybe. More Cuphead content is coming, and of course, again, while no gameplay, possibly my number one new announcement of the show, Battletoads is making their grand return. Again, Microsoft, we need to resurrect these long-lost rare IPs. We need to do it ASAP. Sony, while I didn't like their presentation aspect of their presentation, I think you guys really need to rethink your setup from this year. Seemed really odd and a bit all over the place. They did have some good stuff, though. Resident Evil 2 was initially shown there, but also the likes of Spider-Man, which I loved the gameplay we got of that. I've enjoyed it so far, but like these combat sections, specifically seeing it against the escaped prisoners, really gave me that feeling of the Batman Arkham games, which is a good thing. I'm really hoping for this to scratch that Arkham itch I've had since we closed that series out with Arkham Knight. I thought these designs for the villains were fantastic. We did see a good amount of villains too. I don't know if these will necessarily be the main villains, but we saw a lot of them. Still not really feeling the white spider symbol, though. I know we're getting the alternate costumes and that, so we won't really have to put up with it if we don't want to. The Last of Us 2 looked good, almost too good, depending on who you ask. Ghost of Tsushima, I was really excited to see, but I don't know if this is going to be the samurai game for me, because Shadows Die Twice certainly is. The FromSoftware guys just keep delivering awesomeness, and this seems to be no exception. Really like how they're kind of doing these different franchises that play essentially in the Souls style, but with twists. Like this game, it seems like that grappling hook and the verticality is going to be a big aspect. And like, I'm not the biggest Dark Souls fan, but I liked the more aggressive play of Bloodborne, as well as the aesthetic of Bloodborne I liked more. So it's kind of nice that it's like, you get variations on this. Nintendo spent a lot of time on Smash, but there's so much in it. Hell, if you play each character for only one match, that's still like, what, 1,000 matches? That Daemon X Machina looks like an easy buy after I saw it being played at the Treehouse. And while I was super upset to hear that Fire Emblem Three Houses won't be released until spring of next year, I think the game itself looked great. And I'm hearing that the Super Mario Party game will have online. It looked like it was going to have at least LAN functionality from the trailer, but we're talking the whole package, complete with leaderboards apparently. That's kind of crazy. I'm even more interested now to see what's going to go on with this Super Mario Party game. And even though I gave them a hard time for not showing gameplay, Cyberpunk 2077, the world they at least set up in the trailer us peasants got to see looked phenomenal, but the media elite have been getting behind closed doors looks at the actual game, and so far, everyone has said they were blown away, at least everyone I've seen. Not that I had any doubts, just because I didn't see the gameplay, but it's very reassuring to see people are so pleased by it. And this is the stuff, mostly off the top of my head, that stood out to me. Much of what I discussed I'll surely be buying, but yeah, it seems like there's going to be a ton of stuff coming out relatively soon. A lot of this stuff was also actually listed as between now and 2019. I don't remember seeing many 2020 or beyond dates. Obviously, the ones that didn't show any date could be longer. And it's kind of weird. A lot of the presentations themselves I felt were kind of lackluster or awkward, but the games we actually got were largely solid. And the games at the end of the day is what matters. And with that, this video is a wrap. Let me know your thoughts on the games we saw this year at E3 in the comments. Like I said, really couldn't bring myself to do a straight up top 10 or something like that. Everything I talked about here would have to be on it. As always, I'm John Zakari, and thanks for watching. Oh my god, and I can't even believe I almost forgot Kingdom Hearts. That's what I'm talking about. It's just too much stuff. Even though we already saw Kingdom Hearts a bunch of times before this E3, and we got multiple new trailers for the game during E3, this title has just been one of those games that normally I would say at this point, it's enough. I don't want to see it anymore, but every time it seems like I always light up. It's always fantastic to see. Every time we saw it when I was streaming it, people in the comments were excited to see it, even when I accidentally muted the trailer during the Sony presentation. Sorry about that one again, guys. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3, can't wait for that. Just so much stuff.